So, hello, this is a new GMP Detox session. My name is Markus Römer, and today we will have a few on guidance for industries from the US-FDA because I often realize that there are some irritations around that. So, what is a guidance for industry? A guidance for industry is usually a non-binding recommendation written by the US FDA. And, on the top level, you have the predicate rules. These are legally binding, but the guidance for industry documents are not legally binding. Also, it's good to know them and to have an orientation, or if you are in an inspection situation, that you can even refer to this guidance for industries so that you show that you know them and that you apply them, that you think about that, and you could also choose different implementation approaches. So the guidance for industries, I just opened here a page on the US FDA Food and Drug Administration website, just to understand where it is coming from. And interestingly, you will see here a predicate rule, because guidance for industries, there are rules how to write guidance for industry documents, and it is not as the well-known Part 11 about electronic records, electronic signatures. It's the 21 CFR Part 10, where it is defined and described and specified how the US FDA itself should write guidance for industry documents. You will find a full list of these guidance documents also on the website of the US FDA. And here you also see within the Code of Federal Regulations, Part 10, Subpart B, what is a guidance document, how it should be structured, what kind of meaning it has. So this is pretty well defined. Not anyone can write a good practice guidance for industry document. So it is defined how this works. We don't read that in detail, but just that you have heard that guidance for industry documents are written according 21 CFR Part 10. What I also was saying, we must go to the Justice Department of the US FDA. By definition, guidance documents do not have the force and effect of a law. And that's very important to understand. Because sometimes I see people that they try to implement the guidance for industry documents, even if they are in a draft version, but they are not legally binding, and you can choose other options if they fit better to you. Especially if I read a guidance for industry document that was written in 2003, and usually they start, this document represents the current view of the US FDA. But it could happen that in the last 20 years, even the view of the agency and our view has changed. So, okay. So, unlike rules promulgating through the notice and comment process, therefore, guidance documents do not bind the public and are not treated as binding by the courts. So, if you are in front of a court, it's already really late, and it will hurt. But again, a guidance for industry document does not have this legally binding effect. That's important to understand. But guidance documents still serve many valuable functions, and that's true. It's very good to know them. Some of them contain really excellent advice for you. We will have a few later on that. So that makes really sense. Okay, like here, for example, interpretive guidance can advise the public on how the agency understands and is likely to apply its binding statuses and legislative rules. If you look into a warning letter, you will never read there's an observation, not a finding, by the way, an observation regarding 21 CFR Part 820.100 or 211.196 or whatever, something like this. But they will not give an observation based on the guidance for industry documents. What I sometimes read in warning letters, and I think that's very useful, that you will find kind of an advice to say you must rework your quality system according good practice guidance for industry, blah, blah, blah. So they even act a little bit like consultants and give advice how you could do that. There are very good guidance for industry documents. I just show some of them. The contract manufacturing arrangements, for example, if you need to write quality agreements, and basically also what you have read in this justice document, the US FDA is giving the guidance for industry documents also into a commenting phase. Basically, they do not, they must not do that, but usually they do that. And basically, these documents have two different statuses. One is the draft version, and then the final version. And here you see the final version of a quite very good document. I also use that guidance, for example, if I write quality agreements, for example, for cloud service providers, CSPs, cloud service providers. So it's not only limited to contract manufacturing, for example. Another good guidance for industry document is a very old one from 2002. General Principles of Software Validation. I just have used that as an example because very often people, if they talk about computer system validation in the pharmaceutical area, they also try to apply that, or they reference that, which I can't understand. General Principles of Software Validation. And here you will find the term software validation. And in pharma, we talk about computer system validation, not software validation. And you should not do software validation in the pharmaceutical area. Software validation is used for solutions like medical devices. They called SAMD, software as a medical device, or SIMD, software in a medical device. And CGMP, pharmaceuticals, the predicate rule is 21 CFR part 210, 211. In 210 you will only find the definitions, and 211 is the main document basically, and medical devices in part 820. So-called combination products, a combination of a medical device and a pharmaceutical product, you will find that in the predicate rule 21 CFR part 4. I think I can talk about that for hours, but just to give you a quick overview on the structure. So why I'm saying that, here, for example, I marked that already in the preparation. This guidance outlines general validation principles that the Food and Drug Administration considers to be applicable to the validation of medical device software. So software in the medical device, or the validation of software used to design, develop, or manufacture medical devices. Not pharmaceutical products or medicinal products, however you will call it. In Europe, we call it a little bit different, but this guidance for industry applies to medical devices. You will also see that, and here we talk about software validation. This is something else, like the validation of computerized systems. Here you also see here software validation is a requirement of the quality system regulation, and the quality system regulation is 21 CFR part 820. Or if you see references like this, part 820, 820, 30, this is then dedicated to medical devices. Another guidance document, which is quite often used in the moment by marketing guys, it's CSA, Computer Software Assurance. Now it's important to understand, contains non-binding recommendations. Number one, it's not a predicate rule. It's not enforced by law. It's not taken into account by a court. Very simple. It is very helpful. It's good to know them within inspections, for sure. you can implement it. So here you see also, this is a draft version. I don't know why people get so crazy about a draft version. Even I do not know, and I would guess that it will never happen, that this will get a final version. So draft, not for implementation. Not for implementation. It's not what I'm saying. It's what is written in the document from the US-FDA. Computer Software Assurance for Production Quality Systems. So, and this is also again for medical devices, because when final, this guidance will supplement FDA's guidance, general principles of software validation. This is what you have seen here before. Medical devices. Very simple. So just as an example to have it here. Another guidance for industry document is guidance for industry. Part 11, electronic records, electronic signatures. In short, you can also watch the GMP Detox session, Time Travel, Part 11. Part 11, the marketing buzzword number 1. Electronic records, electronic signatures. With the predicate rule 21 CFR Part 11, nobody was happy. So 60 years later, this guidance for industry document was written. Also very interesting, the draft version came out in February 2003 and the final extremely fast in August 2003. Pharmaceutical CGMP. And that's very important to read that here. Even in the final version, they have forgotten to take out this line numbers that you usually have for commenting it, but okay, this happens. I've seen something very similar at the EMA. But in line 105, we are now re-examining Part 11, and we will anticipate initiating rulemaking to revise provision of that regulation. That regulation means 21 CFR Part 11. So that was the promise, 2003. Now, 22 years later, no new Part 11, but okay. So, but this is important to understand if we would also talk about Part 11 compliance, that you also apply this guidance for industry document, Part 11. Okay, that's regarding the guidance for industry documents. I wanted to make it shorter. I don't get it. It's always 20 minutes. You will find a list of all guidance documents here also on the website. Browse guidance documents by topics and so on, or by product area. And there you will find all of them that have been issued. We will, in the next session of the GMP Detox session, we will also have a few on the guidance for industry for regulated distance audits, remote audits. Okay, thanks so much. Next time you see a guidance for industry document, great document, but remember, it's not legally binding. And if you think it makes sense, then you can implement it, but it's not needed that you must implement it. Okay, thank you so much. That was it for today. Guidance for Industries. Thanks so much. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel. Maybe I will earn money in 200 years, or at least YouTube will earn some money. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.